morning, Jess. What an afternoon, and we flow into the night now. As you mentioned, from Pepper Stadium in Sydney's Golden West, it is clear there are a few fans in to see a famous Sydney club against the New Zealand club, the Warriors. They want to be called the New Zealand Warriors now. Here are the men they call the Jets, formerly the Blue Bags. Newtown, who were beaten last week 32-12 by Mounties. Can they bounce back against the Warriors to stay alive in this Intrust Super Premiership competition? Let's have a look at the way they line up. Jalen Graham in the fullback position. There are changes in the outside backs. Travis Robinson and Keenan Yorston drop out. In jumper 18, Corin Smith, along with Kenny Nico beside him in 17. Matty McKilrick, the hooker and captain. There's a change up front with Sol Huma going back to the interchange. Kurt Kara comes in jumper 15, and Arana Tamata appears on the bench. He's appeared at 3 NRL clubs, a disjointed career that he couldn't get going. Can he have a happy night with the Newtown Jets at Pepper Stadium? The Warriors, the backline unchanged with Mason Leonor, the captain. Up front, Upu Poaching comes in jumper 15, forcing Torfafo Sipley back to the bench. His brother Patrick Sipley drops off completely. Dan Pallavi appears in jumper 21. The coaches for Newtown, Greg Madison. For the Warriors, Stacey Jones. As Jess mentioned, I'm joined in commentary by Nathan Feen, Jimmy Smith, the sideline. Nathan, I'm looking forward to this. There are a host of players in that Warriors team we're still looking at with NRL experience this year. Yeah, there most definitely is, Matty, and it's all on the line, isn't it? The preliminary final spot, obviously the winner of this game going through to face the Illawarra Cutters. But that host of NRL experience, it was on show earlier on in this match here at O'Carr, who struck for the West Tigers to give them a 26-12 lead at that stage, and they were looking like they were hot in pursuit of that preliminary spot. Yeah, that was Addo Carr running off Jack Littlejohn. Then Luke Garner scored for Wyong to make it 26-16, 10 the difference. Still plenty of time, but in the end, it was handshakes from Joel Edwards. Justin Hunt was one of West Tigers' try scorers, along with Jordan Grant, Jack Littlejohn, and as we saw, Josh Addo Carr. So it's West Tigers against Mounties next week at Leichhardt in a preliminary final. You'll see that on Fox Sports from 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Who is going to play the Illawarra Cutters? Either the Warriors or the Newtown Jets as they take to Pepper Stadium. The end of the season for one of them, and for the winner, they'll be 80 minutes away from the Intrust Super Premiership Grand Final and their dream of playing in the state championship. There's New Brown, one of those Newtown Jets players with NRL experience this year. He's played 4 games for the Cronulla Sharks, 15 across his career, made 11 appearances in 2014 before that knee injury struck him down last season. New Brown, 21 years of age, a young, exciting player in the league. You'll see plenty more of him in the top level. And George Carmont at the other end of the age spectrum. He played 83 games for Newcastle. He's 38 years and 73 days old today. Or young, George might argue. He's retired a few times, but he's back. We are set for kick-off at Pepper Stadium. The Intrust Super Premiership semi-final is go. Newtown with the first run through Junior Rungitha, their Fijian representative, who played Papua New Guinea earlier this year. Unfortunately, his Fijians went down. He's come through the under-20s ranks at West Tigers and found his way to Newtown, where he's been for a number of seasons, the big front rower for Newtown. That's Moratis playing it just shy of the 30-metre line. Now Matt McKilrick captaining the Jets. The club holds him in such high regard. And they are set to complete their opening set just short of halfway. The kick comes from Josh Cleland, high above Pepper Stadium. The chase didn't get through to put any pressure on. And there's charged Nickel Klokstad, picked up and driven backwards by the chasing Josh Cleland. Great set from the Newtown Jets. They started fantastically. Little shift out to this left-hand edge, straight at Mason Leno, making him make tackles early in this game. Look for that to continue as the game flows forward. George Carmont, just repeating, 38 years of age. He's retired a couple of times. Started the season as an assistant coach to Stacey Jones. They said he's needed, and he was happy to put the boots on again. as the Warriors skid to halfway. Nathaniel Roach passing out of dummy half. And the kick fielded by Jacob Gagan.
Positioned himself well, didn't he, Matty? Just tucked in on that right-hand side. Saw the kick coming, took it on the full and returned it with some really good yards up through the middle to start the Newtown Jets set. McCulrick out of dummy half. He's looked sharp quite early.
Here's a man called in to the starting side, Kurt Carter. And now Chernak. Chernak actually had a problem during the warm-up, went to see the trainer. He and the fullback, Jalen Graham, showing the signs of a long, tough season, but he's out there, he's made kickoff, and he's picked up another knock to the mouth as he looked to the referee or the opposing player. Here's Jalen Graham, the man I mentioned in the fullback role. That right quad, heavily strapped, final play, they come the short side. New Brown grubbers, it sits up nicely at the back. And challenge, Nickel Klokstad. Let's go sideline to Jimmy Smith. Jimmy, a nice evening in Penrith.
Beautiful evening, Matt. Beautiful evening for rugby league as we see the Warriors shifted out to Malmelo, and 16 degrees, perfect for the players. I think the experience has been really important in the National Rugby League semi-finals. I'd expect it to be exactly the same in the Intrust Super Premiership. So then like that, George Carmont with all his experience. Matt McCulrick for Newtown I think is going to be important. And James Gavay, I'm a real fan of the way he plays his football. Experience at the West Tigers and of course the Broncos at NRL level as the Warriors pick themselves up the first penalty of the evening.
Yeah, it was a strong run from Ken Mamalo throwing himself at the defence. And big Malachi Huma staying in the tackle a little long. Great contact for Marlo and Huma.
Great set from the Warriors. They just got going. Shift early out to Mamalo on that wing, made some really cheap meters up that left-hand edge, straight on the front foot and earned themselves a penalty. Good chance for an attacking opportunity here to strike first in this final.
John Pallavi takes them within 15 metres. Nathaniel Roach sits it up, and Upu poaching closes in a little more. 8 metres out, the Warriors in great position, looking for first points in this one. Ata Hingano couldn't get away from Junior Rungitha. Poaching, happy to give it straight back, and now they throw the ball around in front of the uprights, looking for an opening. This is Gavay going very close. The reach wasn't quite far enough. Still it's there. It's there for Nathaniel Roach. It opened up. They stayed patient. They held their poise. And the reward is a try for Nathaniel Roach.
It was a fantastic run in the lead-up, wasn't it, from Gavay? He got close himself. And then Nathaniel Roach, too smart from that position. The Newtown Jets defence just skittled out on that right-hand edge, just couldn't recover in time after the quick play the ball there from Gavay. And they were left wanting out on that right-hand edge. And Nathaniel Roach, as we said, NRL experience and 11 NRL games in 2016, took full advantage and got the Warriors on the board first.
One of the battles of this game, Nathan, and you made mention of it a little bit earlier, the really good set that the Warriors were able to put together to come out of trouble is the size versus speed argument. It's been an issue for the Warriors fading out the back end of games throughout the course of their second half of the season, and I think Newtown are looking to that. In the end, though, you have to stop the points up front. It looked far too easy for James Gavay and Nathaniel Roach and the Warriors in getting their first try.
They had some big names return this week. Ken Mamalo, Jazz Tavanga, Nathaniel Roach. And it was Roach opening the scoring. Mason Lino, 2 from 2 last week. Trying to take full advantage of the Nathaniel Roach try. Waved away. 4-0 to the Warriors, who lost their last 5 games of the regular season. The final loss was against Penrith, and they faced Penrith in the first week of finals last week and turned it around 21-14. Hardly convincing form, is it, to go into the finals 5 straight losses? Yeah, but they say it's a new competition, Nathan.
That's right, Matty, and they were able to get the win last week, which is the most important thing, which gives them an opportunity here tonight. But Mason Lino, he's a point-scoring freak, and for him to miss that kick, I hope it doesn't come back to haunt him down the stretch.
How will Newtown react? Matt McCilrick involved in that tackle. And now Jazz Tavanga, one of the bright spots in a frustrating end to the season for the Warriors. One of those debutants I mentioned for the Warriors at NRL level. Played a bit of hooker. Here he is today in the lock forward position. Poaching. Trying to shrug his way clear. 28-year-olds. He played one NRL game in 2010. Atta Hingano goes on to John Pallavi. They complete the set after points through Hingano, kicking towards the sideline and finding it 20 metres out.
I think Stacey Jones will be really happy with that set of 6 there from the Warriors after scoring the first points in this game. Hingano just off the outside edge of the foot, directs it towards the sideline, and the bounce of the ball went over the touchline. Just gives these big forwards an opportunity to relax, suck in the big ones. It's been a pretty hectic start to this game so far, but I'm really enjoying that combination. Mason Lino and Hingano, they just complement each other so well. Very sharp running game, but the kicking game on show there from Hingano. Perfect, exactly what the Warriors were after.
Well, Hingano played 2 NRL games late in the season, rounds 24, 25, both losses, unfortunately, for Atta, but he did stand out. He was confident the moment he took the field. He certainly showed some potential, and this is Momentous threatening to break through, getting a penalty.
Really good charge on this left-hand edge from Momentous, wasn't it? And not for the first time tonight, they've come out to this left-hand edge. Just having a look at Mason Lino there. He didn't make the tackle on that occasion as Momentous come off his left foot and found some yards back through the middle, earned his side a penalty. Great chance for Newtown to strike back.
Kenny Nico starts the set. He's tackled just inside the 30-metre line. And now Kurt Kara, the 2 men called into the starting 13, open this set. Nico and Kara. Now McCilrick. The ball goes out for Jalen Graham. Graham held by one leg. Now Cleland. In his customary headgear, across field, Cleland sits it up. New Brown spins away from 2 defenders. Still going, New Brown inside the 10. Tackled by Matt Allwood. And Hanare Wells. There's a problem for Brown, jumping on one leg. The play comes away from him through Momentous and Malachi Huma. Wrapped up by Pallavi. McCilrick. Flat, close to the line. The defence reads it well. A scramble, it's picked up, and the Warriors are away. The chase is on. Atta Hingano looking for support. Now he finds it. George Carmont. How are the 38-year-old legs now, George? He gets a penalty. Held way too long. He did well to get there in support, George Carmont. After the Atta Hingano break, it was all a bit scrappy at this stage.
It was scrappy, but a great defensive set from the Warriors on their own try line after giving away a penalty, which gave the Newtown Jets a great opportunity. But it was Hingano, the man on the spot, that was able to pick up the loose pass. The second phase play can be a real strength of this Newtown Jets side, but on that occasion, it come a little bit unstuck and the Warriors were downfield. George Carmont, what a story that is. 38-year-old. It's not that old, is it, Matty?
No. Life doesn't start till 40.
I concur with you, Matty. There's another story emerging in this game as well. Just keep your eye on New Brown, who is really struggling. Looks like a right ankle injury that he picked up in that tackle when they were attacking the Warriors line. He's staying out there, but that's the second time now he's been in the hands of the trainers.
Well, there are 3 players, I reckon, who are a little ginger for Newtown. New Brown, Jason Chernak, and Jalen Graham. We'll keep our eye on them. Poaching. Now a spin from Sean Lane. You won't miss him. His size and height. Again, they spread it. Hingano calling players under. This is Pallavi trying to position himself for an offload. He does. Nathaniel Roach. Hingano sitting it up and pulled the ground. Jazz Tavanga. It's a good tackle that came from Kara. The Warriors looking for their second try of the game. Mason Lino The dummy fooled no one. Momentous making the tackle. Lane, hit and spin. Allwood trying to spin his way through.
This should be 5. Held up. Number 4 has the ball.
John Stone is our referee.
Take it out 10. Out 10, mate.
The sole man in charge.
Wait, whistle. Wait. Wait.
Well, the ball finished very close. It was over the line and at one point very nearly on it. Lino kicks. Picked up at the back by Newtown.
It's great positioning there from Jalen Graham, wasn't it, at the back? Just sweating on the kick from Mason Lino as we see a bust here through the middle of the park for the Newtown Jets.
Jacob Gagan. Now Matt Evans off the back of that. The scrambling defence only just doing the job for the Warriors. Now Chernak. He gets a penalty. And Newtown will come right on the attack here.
All on the back of Gagan's run, wasn't it? Just straight through the middle of the Warriors' big defensive pack. Just fending away, kept those big legs pumping, was able to get a quick play of the ball and keep the Newtown Jets on the attack. They've got a penalty.
McKilrick. This is New Brown. Anthony Momentous. The grandson of businessman and racehorse owner Mike Power, Nick. So Anthony, the grandson, gets back in position. Now McKilrick. New Brown tests those ankles with a big step. Can't beat poaching. Josh Cleland. Junior run-gither is there, and he stands, now forced to ground. Final play. McKilrick opts for the short side. Cleland gets away from one, still going! Josh Cleland dives out and over. The first-year Newtown player has delivered a try.
Did it all himself too, didn't he, Josh Cleland? On the last tackle, going down the right-hand short side, decided to run. And it was somewhat soft in the end from that Warriors defence out on that left-hand edge. Nothing really doing it all. Plenty of Warriors in the picture as well. But he just had the determination, didn't he, to get to the try line. Coming off his premiership last year with the Ipswich Jets. Great opportunity down here in Sydney with the Cronulla Sharks. And I believe he's been signed by the Bulldogs as well. So he's got a really bright future, this kid. And he took it upon himself to get his side back into this contest.
For all those teams that have run the ball on the sixth tackle, and we've seen it a lot at NRL level, especially those Bulldogs that you mentioned have done it. I know that Penrith did it 5 or 6 times today in their semi-final victory over the Bulldogs. That's the reward for it. The fact that he had men on the outside, showed the ball to them, and then the determination to go for the line. You can see the problems that the Newtown side can cause the Warriors with their speed around that dummy half area. Gagan had a good run. Chernak had a good run. Drew the penalty for his side, and now it's up to New Brown to make it really count.
Didn't miss last week, New Brown. One of many New Zealand juniors in this Newtown lineup. Names like McKilrick, the Huma brothers, Chernak, Tamata and others. New Brown, he misses, so we stay 4-all after Josh Cleland scored his 7th try of the season. He's been a regular in the number 6 jersey for Newtown. You touched on the fact he played with Ipswich last year, Nathan. He went all the way through to that state championship win for them under Ben and Shane Walker, the coaches. And of course, it's on again, the 3rd edition of the state championship this year on grand final day at Sydney Olympic Park. It's 2-0 to Queensland sides at this stage, Northern Pride and Ipswich winning the 2 state championships so far. Can New South Wales strike back in 2016? The Intra-Super Premiership winner against the Intra-Super Cup winner on NRL Grand Final Day. Malachi Huma. No sign of his older brother Sol yet. Solala Huma, or Sol as he prefers to be called. Just brought back to the bench by the coach, Greg Maddison. Matt Evans, 2 halfway and beyond. Cleland and Junior Ungitha. He's played 6 NRL games for the Sharks, junior, all of them in 2014. Now Cleland completes end over end, high above Pepper Stadium, and catching it at the back. Chance Nickel Clockstad did well because he was balked very late as the ball came down to his grip.
It was a great chase from the Newtown Jets, wasn't it? Cleland put it very high in the air. And he just had those chases, just in his vision as he was looking up, did Nickel Clockstad, but he had just had eyes for the football, was able to come up with the play, a big play that his side needed him to make, and the Warriors are now working deep from out from inside their own half.
Ken Momalo was there, he thought as a shield, but it very nearly put Nickel Clockstad off. Well done to the fullback as poaching. Plenty of touches for him early in this game. The 28-year-old with that single NRL game under his belt. They kick 5 metres their own side of halfway. And it comes down for Jalen Graham. Now cross fields. Away from Gavay. But he couldn't escape Tavanga or Ada Hingano. Corin Smith with a run. Now it's in the hands of Kenny Nico. Just the 7th appearance for Nico at Newtown this season. McCarthy up the middle. A good run out of dummy half. New Brown to Moratis. Moratis takes on the line and takes a good tackle. Allwood and Mason Lino, who's come up with a problem. Cleland kicks in behind the line. Again, it's Nickel Clockstad tidying up well.
It was a great set, wasn't it, from the Newtown Jets? It all started with that run from Jalen Graham back in his own half. It was a midfield bomb. He was able to take it and skip across the chasing team of the Warriors and found some really good yards back through the middle of the field. Got the Newtown Jets set started, and they were on the front foot from then on. Tackled the Warriors 2 metres out from their own try line.
Over halfway, the Warriors through Roach, running onto the ball. Lino, I was about to say he appears to be okay, but he might be looking for excuse after throwing that ball away. He cleans up, Allwood. And the kick comes from Nickel Clockstad. Down for Jalen Graham again. Now Gagan.
Geez, I think Stacey Jones will want those kicks to be hitting the turf as much as possible. Their back three, the Newtown Jets, are absolutely dangerous. We've already seen Jalen Graham open them up through the middle third of the field. He'd love that kick to hit the turf so his kick chasers can get down there and put some pressure on this Newtown Jets side.
Just looking at Jalen Graham and his last 2 kick returns. During the warm-up, he was strapped once, then twice for good measure, but now the strapping has gone completely. So he's obviously confident in his hamstring or quad, whatever the problem was. Good signs for Newtown. McKilrick through Shernack. Now Cleland. And McKilrick sends it back to New Brown. Plenty of time to measure this kick across field. The jump from Anari Wells is good. And they'll stop him 11 metres out.
Yeah, he did really well, didn't he, Henari Wells? Once again, just eyes for the football, had to make the play for his side, and he did a fantastic job, not only to take the ball, but then have the presence of mind to get to ground, so the Newtown Jets couldn't push them across the sideline, as we see an error from Lane.
And Moratis is happy to pick it up. Brown. And Kurt Kara gives it for Rungitha to go inside the 10. For Amanu Brown to Josh Cleland. Kicks and chases. There was an obstacle for Cleland, but still he forces Nickel Clockstad to force it dead. They'll come under the crossbar for a goal line dropout. Cleland putting his stamp on this game.
Yeah, it's a repeat set, yes, but it was an early kick, and I don't know if the outside chasers knew it was on. The depth and touch of Cleland, though, has got his side a repeat set. Just gives him an opportunity now just to relax, get things set, have a bit of a breather and really come at the Warriors hard here. The Warriors just struggling around the middle third at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big play, isn't it? First tackle to do that. It's amazing how the psychology of wearing strapping can work. I agree with you, Matty. Jalen Graham was very proppy on that right leg. Not so now with the strapping off. An update to Taifafa'a Sipley is on the field for James Gavay, and Gavay's gone up the tunnel too. He's got a shoulder issue that he picked up very early in the game.
You won't miss Taifafa'a Sipley in jumper 10. In a very similar mould to Sean Lane. A big one, basically. Newtown 20 metres out for the moment. Lane and Sipley are forced to tackle. McKilrick, now New Brown, Cleland puts it out the back for Graham. Matt Evans straightens over the 10. He can't get away from George Carmont, who makes the tackle along with Ata Hingano. Jason Chernak. This is Jalen Graham looking light on his feet right there. Final play from 5 metres out. McKilrick backs out of one tackle, gets the offload for Evans to Grubber into the in goal, a little too heavy. So a breather for the Warriors.
It all just broke down there on that last tackle play there from the Newtown Jets. McKilrick jumped out of dummy half, looking for another run opportunity down that short side, but this time, thankfully, the Warriors' defence on that left-hand edge was up to the challenge, able to put a bit of pressure on. McKilrick was able to get the ball back to Evans, but he couldn't control the kick. And what an opportunity now for the Warriors to get out of their own end with the 7-tackle set.
They'll enjoy some possession, the Warriors, only 43% of the ball so far. They've spent 60% of the game in their own half, and only on this play will they enter Newtown territory in this set. 4-all on the scoreline, nothing between them as they entered the finals either. A very messy play the ball, play on, the call from referee John Stone, and now the penalty goes to the Warriors.
You're placing the rugby line there, and then you're offside.
Well, you heard the reason. Kurt Dillon, the man penalised, Nathan.
Yeah, last time they got an opportunity down here on the back of a penalty, the Warriors were able to put the first points on the board. See what they can come up with, a nice little set structure piece. I think they'll go out to that left-hand edge out towards Cleland.
James Gavay being strapped, Jimmy Smith.
AC joint injury, it's on that right shoulder, and based on what we're seeing there, I think the Warriors would expect him to be back on the field at some stage this evening.
On the ball.
Sean Lane. The Warriors finishing the regular season in 5th. Newtown 4th. So it's 4th versus 5th right here as Taifafa'a Sipley really winds up. Ata Hingano, his pass knocked down, dived on by Newtown, who is off the Warriors, who were charging through looking for the ball on the chest. Not only did they drop it, now they give away a penalty.
I called 0. Not going to discuss it.
Yeah, double error there from the Warriors. They had a great little opportunity down that left-hand edge, but just couldn't execute the play. The big run from Sipley was able to suck in the defenders in and around the ruck, and then the shift was on out towards the left-hand edge. A little bit of an opportunity if that ball was able to thread the needle out the back. Chance. Nickel Clockstad was the man sweeping around and would have created that extra number for the Warriors, but unfortunately it all went amiss, and error was backed up by that penalty.
These men, the Jets, enjoyed 13 wins and a draw through the regular season. The Warriors, 12 wins, 10 losses. And amazingly, the Warriors' intra-super premiership run through the regular season really mirrored their NRL team. Slow starters, fantastic through the middle part of the season, then crashing badly at the back end. McKilrick passing for Kurt Dillon. Now New Brown inside the 20, skipping inside the 20, but he can't get away from Jazz Tavunga. Evans to Josh Cleland, now Gagan, who puts it on the ground and changes what picked up by Nickel Clockstad, but he was running out of room. He threw the ball back in field, but not before the flag had come up from the sideline official, or touchy, I think we call them these days.
They're persistent, the Newtown Jets, aren't they, down this right-hand edge. Running the ball on the last tackle once again. Cleland seizing the opportunity, throws a beautiful cutout pass. It's a great little kick, good touch. That really give Nickel Klostak no chance. He had to come across and cover it, and the chase team was on the spot to put some pressure on him and bundle him over the touchline. Another opportunity for the Newtown Jets. Just on your point a bit earlier there, Matty, about those 5 losses to end the pre-season for the New Zealand Warriors. Well, the Newtown Jets haven't lost back-to-back games all year. Is that a sign of the outcome of tonight's match?
Yeah, they were beaten last week, Newtown. Mounties too good, 30-12. Mounties the minor premiers. Here's Newtown chasing the lead right here through Sol Hermer. Sol Hermer. How did they force him backwards? Nathaniel Roach, what a show of strength from the Warriors hooker. Now the kick across field. It only needs to up, and it did for Corin Smith. Smith scores for the Jets. He's a scoring machine. 8 tries in his 7th game for the Jets.
Well, what a charge from Huma. But what about the strength of Nathaniel Roach, the little hooker, able to push him back and give his side a chance there, but great heads-up play from Brown. Just dribbled it in, tackle one, very risky play, but Hanari Wells was well infield. He just summed it up beautifully, didn't he, and just threaded the needle. It was perfect weight. And the try scorer, Corin Sims, did enough to get it down.
It's clearly something Greg Madison has observed during the course of the Warriors games. When they get in tight around the ball and want to defend there, it opens up space, but it opens it up early in the tackle count. We saw Josh Cleland on the other side. They got themselves a restart. This time that man on screen, Corin Smith, gets the try. It was a beautifully weighted kick there from New Brown. He's had 3 NRL games this season, New Brown. One of them was at this ground when the understrength Sharks beat the Panthers in what was a spectacular performance. And on that night, New Brown was very, very good himself. Here he goes again to try and add the extras. It's really interesting. Shane Flanagan has that option with Chad Townsend being replaced uninjured last night in that game. What does he do for the halfback position come that preliminary final in 2 weeks' time? New Brown might just be a candidate.
New Brown trying to land this sideline conversion. Newtown stay ahead by 4. The kick goes to the left. Corin Smith, his first try for the season after his 6 games last year, yielded 7 tries. So he knows his way over, but this year it's been a tough task for him. In his 2nd season with the Jets, Corin Smith. So the Warriors score first, but the last 8 points to Newtown. A tough night for the kickers. We're yet to see a goal land. Dillon. He'll play it just short of his 20-metre line. Now Kenny Nico. James Bell enters for the Warriors. Nick Moratis bumping away, but then easy prey for the backup defenders. That new man on, Bell. Sol Huma. McKilrick again taking great metres out of dummy half. And they will kick here on the front foot. New Brown runs for a long way and finds the line 3 metres out. They finish that set on the front foot. And Jimmy Smith's sideline, they can thank Matty McKilrick for that. What a 24-hour period for Matty McKilrick.
Quite incredible, isn't it? Friday night, he ends up getting down to Canberra after training with the Newtown side in preparation for this game. He is a reserve for the Sharks in their match against the Raiders yesterday. He warms up. He's not required. As a result of that, he gets back in the car, drives up the highway, gets home at about 10 p.m. last night to get ready for the big match tonight. He's a pro and he's a quality player, and he seems to be handling it no problem at all, Matty.
Fantastic young man, Matty McCulrick, 4 years in the under-20 system at Canberra. Played with Mounties and Wyong when he was at the Roosters, but now obviously Newtown, the feeder club for his current NRL contract at the Sharks. Captaining Newtown today. Here's Ken Mamalo. Forward with vigour. Bell. Roach to Jazz Tavunga. Flung to ground by McCulrick. Final play. And Mason Lino puts it high, bringing Jalen Graham forward. He can't get a clean catch. It's there and it's touched. It's a fresh set for the Warriors. And Roach takes the tackle. A strong one from Josh Cleland. He picked him up and put him on his back. Taufafoa Sipley tries the big leg drive again. He'll get to the in-goal, will he? No, stopped after the involvement of 4 Newtown defenders. Leno to Allwood, jumping back against the grain. Tackled by Moratis. Lane goes into dummy half. Through his half-back, Leno, Tavunga, across field, Ada Hingano, can't get away. Cleland races up and makes a great tackle. Nickel Klokstad, it's back in his hands now. The fullback, he can't find a way through. 2 plays left. Roach eventually pulls the trigger on a pass to Ada Hingano. His kick off Newtown, back for Roach, and they get another fresh set. Bell. No way through for James Bell. He's told to back it up.
A little bit unconventional for the Warriors there, getting that repeat set, but doesn't matter how you get them, as long as we can make the most of it now. Great opportunity to strike.
Taufafoa Sipley, he's having another crack again. He'll get to the in goal, but again, he'll be held up. Well, it's only a matter of time, surely, for Taufafoa Sipley.
Come on, boys. Third tackle.
What a charge.
The metres after contact just keep on coming. Leno, here's Sean Lane. Lane tries the same option, but he couldn't get the ball carrying arm down. Leno, the pressure builds on Newtown. When will they break? If they'll break at all. It's a good tackle on Pallavi. Outside the ball towards Ken Mamalo has been called forward.
Oh, it was the right idea, wasn't it, Matty? It was a great play in the lead-up. Had the Newtown Jets scrambling on their own try line. Then they went down the short side. The long ball here from Hingano just drifted forward, but it was a fantastic finish. I would have loved to have seen that be called play on so we could see if he got that down just in time. And that's a big error from the Warriors after that attacking raid on the Newtown Jets line, just releasing all the pressure there.
Yeah, Ken Mamalo, no trouble scoring in the Intrust Super Premiership. He scored 9 in 10 games coming in here. Finishes like that show us why, but in the top grade, he made 10 appearances this season, just the 1 NRL try for Ken Mamalo. So his strike rate in the ISP, much better.
Here we are, fellas.
That was an amazing bit of defence from the Newtown side there. Got to give a lot of credit for that. Sipley was over the line, couldn't get the ball down. Lane was just short of the line. There was a good strong charge from John Pallavi, and Mamalo was over the line, but it was a forward pass. They've done incredibly well, drew the penalty. And now it seems Newtown will get to an attacking kick come the end of this set.
It's a great point, Jimmy. What about their defensive resilience? Newtown right there. New Brown brushes away from Taufafoa Sipley. An advisable move. And he takes a tackle on the 30-metre line. Kurt Dillon. Some strong runs from him since he entered off the bench. Sol Huma straightens. Tackled by Sipley and Bell, 10 metres out. New Brown, a big step off the left foot. He takes the tackle and tried to pass off the grounds. giving the ball straight to the Warriors. So we'll have a changeover.
If you are going to make an error, you want to make it down this end of the park. On tackle 5 as well. So it was the last play for the Newtown Jets. Once again, deciding to run the football. New Brown showing both inside and out. Opened the Warriors up slightly, but their scramble defence was up to the task on that occasion.
This is Bell brushing away from 3 defenders now before New Brown comes in around the legs to make sure of the stop. Hanari Wells. This is Lino through Tavanga. Adahingano goes on for Nickel Klokstad. Tavanga taking another tackle from Cleland, assisted by Kara. High, spiralling above Pepper Stadium. This will take some catching. It's allowed to bounce, and it sits up for George Carmont, who throws it back to Mamalo, batting it down for Adahingano. Now Tofafoa Sipley. Lino will settle. Across field he goes, looking for Hanari. Wow! What a try! The Warriors have turned it on from one side of the field to the other. All the skills on show, and Hanari Wells caps a magnificent rugby league try.
I am absolutely speechless. That is unbelievable from the New Zealand Warriors. The bomb goes up, comes down. They kept it alive through George Carmont. He just threw it and hoped. The baton from Mamalo. They kept it alive. Hingano just throws it Sipley. Then on to Mason Lino. This is where it got special. The vision. Knew there was space out on the right-hand edge. The pinpoint kick, and Hanari Wells, how about the timing of that chase to catch it just as it was about to go over the try line and touchdown for his side. 8-all. Game on.
Absolutely superb. Brilliant rugby league there from the Warriors, and I can tell you, sitting here next to the Warriors bench, they all went up as one when Hanari Wells caught that ball, had inches to work with on this right-hand touchline, and was able to drag it down and put it over the try line. I'm not sure whether after that first bounce the ball came off Ken Mamalo and then found a player in front of him. It's all semantics now. That is spectacular entertainment, and just on the eve of halftime as well. That's a big pickup for the Warriors.
So Mason Lino will try to become the first kicker to add the extras. Been a rough first half for them, mainly because a lot of the kicks have been out near the sideline. Well, that's the picture. On a clear, pretty fair night in Penrith. I don't think that's Jimmy Smith singing in the background. Mason Lino tries to concentrate, asks Jimmy to hush, and now approaches, trying to take his side to the lead across the face. We are locked 8 on 8. Hanari Wells scored a double in the win last week against Penrith inside the first 10 minutes. The man who played under 20s at the Roosters in 2011 and 12. He is a former Newtown Jet in 2013. A year later, he was at Burleigh. 2015, a knee injury ruled him out, and here he is back at the Warriors. A Nerang Roosters junior, but he is New Zealand born. Hanari Wells, the 23-year-old, very capable footballer, and we've seen that through a long career in the lower grades already. The kickoff goes to the try scorer. Tofafoa Sipley adds the muscle. On you, he gets a bit back from Sol Huma and Kurt Dillon. Now Lane, forced to ground by Kara. Jazz Tavanga couldn't free up his arms. Sol Huma made sure of that. Adahingano for John Pallavi. James Bell can't quite get past halfway. They'll complete the set It's Hingano driving it along the ground. It sits up nicely for Gagan, who comes infield to Jalen Graham. Straight into Mason Lino, who comes again. Jalen Graham, determined not to be tackled. And he is right on half-time. It's been an entertaining 40 minutes. The best save for last, a fantastic try to Hanari Wells. 2 tries each. Both kickers missing their 2 attempts. So it's very much game on in this elimination semi-final.
Newtown is coming, hear the bluebacks humming. Newtown, Newtown.
Although Sydney Mutual Bank was launched as a new brand last year, we have been helping the people of Sydney and beyond with their finances since the early 1960s. For over 5 decades, we operated as a credit union, offering the same services a bank does. In 2019, we swapped from a credit union to a bank and changed our name from Sydney Credit Union to Sydney Mutual Bank. At Sydney Mutual Bank, you're not just a member, you're an owner. This means that 100% of profits benefit customers, both financially and socially. We have been supporting the Marrickville community since 1982, and we are proud sponsors of Newtown Jets since 2012. Attending home games with our Best Seats on the Hill competition and Sid the Pig. Our products and services are designed to assist in the financial education and growth of the youth and young adult sector, as well as facilitating community initiatives in the local areas surrounding our branches. We offer a competitive range of banking products from savings accounts, children's accounts through to competitive rate home loan products. Exclusive deals are available for Loyal Jets members, and through the COVID-19 pandemic we are still operational through our vast branch network, call centre and online facilities. One of our branches is now located on the ground floor in Marrickville Metro if you wish to say hello.
Hashtag we are 8972. Hashtag keep the Jets flying. Keep safe, Blue Bags. We can't wait to see you on the other side.
8-all at Pepper Stadium. Newtown against the Warriors, the Intrust Super Premiership semi-final, with the winner in this one advancing to the Illawarra Cutters. Both teams have had their moments in the first half. 2 tries each. It is 8 on 8 after an entertaining first 40 minutes. You look at the possession, it evened right up late in that first 40 because the Warriors were behind badly in that regard. Nathan Feen, what have you made of the first 40? Does anything on that stats page stand out to you?
Look, there's real quality about this game out there tonight. Obviously a final, the intensity's right up there. The completions from both sides are really, really good at the moment. Not a lot of errors, and you'd expect that in a finals game, but the missed tackles of the Newtown Jets, only 5 in the first half. Last week they missed 42 in their loss against the Mounties, so a much improved effort there, and the reason why the score is so close at half-time.
5 missed tackles in a half compared to 42 in a game last week. A dramatic improvement from Newtown from what we saw last week, but they gave up the first points of the game. It was Nathaniel Roach, who's seen a bit of NRL this season, and he snuck over for the first try out of dummy half.
Yeah, it was early on too, wasn't it? 5 minutes, and I think Coach Greg Madison would have been really worried, but they were able to strike straight back in the 14th minute with Cleland going down the short side on the 5th tackle. We saw the Newtown Jets do that a number of occasions in that first half. Obviously, they've seen something in the video with the big New Zealand Warriors forwards pack, and this was exactly what I was speaking about. First tackle play there from New Brown, able to dribble it in and found space on the outside. Hanari Wells just in way too far there. Corin
Smith getting his first try of the season after he scored at a great clip last year with Newtown. This was the highlight of the first 40. On the final play, the Warriors kick, and then it's allowed to bounce. George Carmont did well to keep play alive here, and it looked like breaking down a few times. Ken Mamalo pushing it on, and then they just went across through Torfafile Sipley, Mason Lino, and on the end of this, Hanare Wells.
That is so hard to execute under the pressure of a final situation. Mason Lino just seeing the space out there, knew he had to get the ball out there, and it come with the pinpoint kick. Fantastic effort. Hanare Wells as well to stay on side, not get excited, and come through and make the really big play there for the Warriors.
So 2 tries each, Smith and Cleland scoring for the Jets, Wells and Roach for the Warriors. 8 on 8 Who wants this most? We are set for a fantastic second 40 here at Pepper Stadium. As we've seen, Mason Lino kicked superbly for Hanari Wells to score, and New Brown has had his moments as well for Newtown, Newtown being a feeder club for the Cronulla Sharks. So the battle of the halves, Jimmy Smith, that will be crucial in the second half.
Well, I'm a little bit like Nathan Feen with this game as well, Matty. There's no shortage of intensity about it, and the quality is there as well, which I guess you expect in a semi-final as important as this one. Remember, the loser is out, of course, but you're right about the halves. The control of the game has been really excellent. I've been really interested to see what Greg Maddison has done with the Newtown side. There's been different occasions where he's kicked on the first tackle and run on the last tackle. So they've obviously seen something with the way they line up defensively, the Warriors, and have tried to exploit that, and they've done that with success in that first half. Expect more of that in the second half. The other thing I'm really interested in as well is how does Greg Maddison use Arana Tamata? Does he move his halves around? Does he put him in a lock forward position, give him a bit of a roving commission? Because we know what sort of strike he can provide for Newtown off the bench.
Good on you, Jimmy. Nathan, you know there's no such thing as too much footy, and the good news is on a massive weekend of rugby league on Fox Sports, there's still another 40 minutes to come. We've got the second half here from Pepper Stadium in Penrith. Newtown against the Warriors, 8 points each. Who wants it most? We'll find out in the second 40. There will be a next week for only one of these teams. Matty McKilrick, New Brown, Jalen Graham, all hoping it's Newtown, but the Warriors want representation into September significantly as well. Hanari Wells capped a fantastic try to level us up after the first 40 at 8-all. Nathaniel Roach, a man who's played NRL this season, made his debut, in fact. You've liked what you've seen, Nathan Feen.
Yeah, he's starting to look dangerous too, just as the half got on a little bit of space in and around the ruck. Just the way he rolls the big New Zealand Warriors forward pack down the field. If they're going to go on and win this game, it'll be on the back of Nathaniel Roach and the work that he does in and around that ruck.
Matty McKilrick was involved in 3 tackles that held the Warriors up in Newtown's in goal. He was involved in every one of them.
He's been tremendous, hasn't he, in this first half? Just a workhorse in defence. As you mentioned, those try-saving tackles on his own goal line. Jimmy enlightened us with what he was doing down in Canberra as 18th man for the side last night, and straight back here as we get the second half underway.
Newtown with the kickoff. It's short, taken by the Warriors. And they're driven backwards in the tackle. A determined start by the Jets, who last won this competition in its many guises in 2012. The Warriors yet to win an intra-super premiership or any of the second-tier competitions. This is George Carmont. It was the fullback, Nickel Klokstad. Had a sound first half. He goes into dummy half right here. Adam Hingano on to John Pallavi. Hingano waiting on the short side. He kicks within that 10-metre tram line. Down for Jalen Graham.
Yeah, really good kick chase there from the Warriors down this left-hand edge. It was great contact there too. Let's see what the line speed's got. Fantastic from the Warriors early on, looking to put the Newtown Jets under a lot of pressure early in this second half.
Great to be calling Newtown. We hope you're enjoying watching them again as well, as their website proudly screams. The oldest rugby league football club in Australia, formed January 8, 1908. Well, here we are in 2016. And the one-time Blue Bags, now Jets, are still here. A cult following. Here's Moratis, passing close to the sideline. And Kenny Nico takes the tackle. This is Cleland towards a hole. Josh Cleland looking for support. And Matty McKilrick is the support. He skids over. 2 of their best in the first half deliver early in the second.
Josh Cleland with the initial bust on the last tackle again, running the football. Just a little bit of kick pressure, just coming up too fast and just too much speed there from Cleland. And like all good hookers, McKilrick back on the inside, just backing up, trailing his 5'8", putting himself in a perfect position. Didn't try and reach out, knew that he had the momentum there, and it was going to take him over the try line. Nathaniel Roach tries in vain, but not able to pull him back in time. And that's a fantastic start for the Newtown Jets in the second half.
Isn't it dangerous when you send that shooter defender out, try to put pressure on the kicker? We've seen that Josh Cleland has the capacity and the willingness to run the football on the last tackle. He's already scored an earlier try. Now he sets up one for that man on screen, Matt McCurry, who has had an interesting 48 hours in preparation for this game, but on the spot when he was needed on that occasion. That's going to upset Stacey Jones. The half-time message was all about defence from Stacey. Get off the ground quickly, make sure your defensive line. That was the key at half-time, and that's where they've let themselves down very early on in this second half. From Greg Madison's point of view, keep working. Go set for the Warriors, and of course priority is the defence as well.
New Brown from right in front. Shortly we're about to see our first goal of the evening. 14-8 in favour of Newtown. Jimmy mentioned and then raised again the tough time for McKilrick, to and from Canberra last night to warm up with the Sharks. He'd need some time on the couch. Speaking of which, on the couch with Sturlo, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m, part of your wall-to-wall rugby league channel during the finals on Fox season through September up until that first weekend in October. We've got you covered across the grades, across the week, across the competition. Jalen Graham. Now it's Dylan. I've heard solid contact from Kurt Dillon more than any other player in this game. He just runs a nice direct line, puts his body on the line. And the big collision, very much part of his game. He likes it, and the Newtown Jets benefit from it. They're ahead by 6 points as Cleland goes long. It was long and hard and left behind. Carmont kicked ahead and was then tackled. Diving on the ball, Gagan, plays allowed to continue. Carmont is arguing in back play, and maybe justifiably so.
I think they've got away with one there, the Newtown Jets. That line speed again from the Warriors. Stacey Jones' message, he wanted a little bit of pressure, and on that occasion they were able to come up and force the Newtown Jets into an error. Unlucky that the referee has said it's gone back. It went on the kick, on the toe from Carmont, which restarted the set of 6 for the Newtown Jets.
Carmont kicked the ball and was then tackled. It was a penalty to the Warriors that wasn't blown. I know it was touch and go in actual time, a fine line, but you can't tackle the player without the ball and deny him the chance to chase through. And now, just to rub some salt into the wounds, they complete with a very tidy kick from New Brown. And there's Valentine Holmes, smile on his face. He's got a weekend off. Here to watch New Brown and a host of Cronulla club mates, with Newtown, the feeder club to the Sharks. They've had a few allegiances over the years. Of course, Newtown dropped out completely between 84 and 90, but they actually were a feeder side to the Auckland Warriors in 2000. The Sharks after that, then the Sydney Roosters, now back to the Sharks.
Thanks, Jason. Can you go?
Luckily, there's not a divorce lawyer in rugby league. Been a few partnerships there.
Just to let you know, too, that was Kurt Capewell sitting next to Valentine Holmes. Of course, he's played a lot of football for Newtown, played in the second row. He's played in the centres at different stages this year in their Intrust Super Premiership campaign. And how impressive has he been in his few games in first grade? And he was super against the Raiders last night.
Also sitting there, Travis Robinson, Keenan Yorston, here to support Newtown. As the Warriors make it a little easier for them. A drop pass will invite Newtown to build the majority of their set in Warriors territory.
Yeah, they were quite good in that regard in the first half, just getting out of their own end. They played with a bit of variation, little shifts to their edges, take the easy yards as the Newtown Jets defence are backing off. But on that occasion, they play square through the middle of the field. Nathaniel Roach, he could really become dangerous as this half progresses, but they need to complete their sets of 6, especially when they're coming out of their own end. The 5th error there for the New Zealand Warriors of the match, and the first of the second half won't please Stacey Jones.
Let's really ram home that missed tackle stat. You raised it at half-time, Nathan. Only 5 missed tackles in the first half from Newtown. after they missed 42 last week in their defeat against Mounties. Greg Madison will be very happy with that. And Greg Madison, Jimmy Smith, part of a famous rugby league name or family with tentacles all over the league.
Oh, let's go further and call it a dynasty, Matty. Of course, brother of Terry Madison, who's now assistant coach up there on the Gold Coast and had a distinguished career with the Roosters and, of course, the Broncos. And then there's Paul Madison, another brother who played for the Roosters back in the 80s. And I believe Paul is the father of Ryan Madison, who has played in the NRL for the first time this year with the Sydney Roosters. So, yeah, a bit of a dynasty with the Madison family.
New Brown puts it out the back for Jalen Graham. He goes on to Kenny Nico. Nico playing in his 7th game of the season with Newtown. 2 tries under the belt. Final play. They explore down the short side. New Brown just running it off the foot. And it's fielded comfortably by the Warriors in the end.
I like their defence there from the Warriors. They had to just settle things down defensively, and they were able to do that. The Newtown Jets tested them out on that left-hand edge, but they were up to the task on that occasion. Pleasing for Stacey Jones to defend after the error. They were able to stop the Newtown Jets, and now they just need to complete this set of 6.
Ken Mamalo was trailing, looking for the ball, but Chance Nickel Clockstad takes the tackle. Now Mamalo skips into the defence again. The tackle made by Jason Chernak. Anna Hingano back to his winger Mamalo with the overarm lob. Picked up by Nickel Clockstad, but it's been knocked on. So both their last sets around halfway have ended with an error.
Definitely not what they would have hoped for. Once again, just on the last tackle there, they just lose their way. Just lose their way on the last tackle. Turned over possession. They're probably a little bit unlucky there looking at it for the second time, but that's the way it goes in finals football.
The Warriors have struggled in the second half at times this season, especially recently. 7 second-half points in their last 3 games, the Warriors.
Well, they were lucky to hang on last week too. They had the Penrith Panthers coming at them, steaming home in the second half, but they were able to get it done. Really going to have to get a stop here. They can't afford to let this Newtown Jets side get another one on them early in this second half.
Big set right here. Jalen Graham fending away and passing back for Jason Chernak. John Pallavi grabs hold and makes the tackle. McKilrick. This is Bell. In fact, it's Kurt Dillon. Now McKilrick at the 10-metre line. He goes short and flat, and look at the celebration for Kurt Kara. The bench applauds. A big blow landed by the Newtown Jets.
What a fantastic line there, run by Kurt Kara, but it's got to be said, all on the back of back-to-back errors from the New Zealand Warriors side. A hint of a forward pass and probably come forward out of the hands of McKilrick as he went to the line. But when things are going against you, like it is at the moment for the Warriors, they all seem to go against you, and that's exactly what's happened here. I just can't get past those 2 errors from the New Zealand Warriors with their last 2 sets. If they were able to play down the other end of the field, they wouldn't have had Kurt Kara running back on that line and wouldn't be testing their ruck.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nate. There was a forward pass from Matt McKilrick out of dummy half. They've let that run forward. Kurt Kara gets the try. If you talk about heart and soul of teams, Kurt Kara is your man for the Newtown Jets. It's such an interesting story. I tell you what, he's always around the football, whether he plays hooker, whether he plays in that lock forward position. He's invariably around the football. He's come so close to realising his dream to play in the National Rugby League. He's been 18th man for the Roosters on a number of occasions. Didn't quite get the call up, but he's been playing strong football for Newtown now for 7 or 8 seasons, and it continues tonight. Change too for the Jets. Sol Huma has come from the field, and they'll be making a replacement in the middle of the field.
New Brown will like taking shots from here. Kurt Kara, the try scorer. I'll come back to him in a moment. Let's see if New Brown can bump his team out by 2 converted tries. Only just. There was heart in the mouth material for a moment, and he knows it, but Kurt Kara, the try scorer, this is game number 23 for the Newtown Jets this season, and try number 1. He's been made to wait a long while.
He's off the nudie, Matty, and he would have enjoyed it too against his old club. Started back in the NYC with the New Zealand Warriors, and he's got his side a 12-point lead now. Geez, he nearly hooked that kick, didn't he? He shanked it. He went over and has given him a 12-point lead. The Newtown Jets looking to book their date against the Illawarra Cutters in the prelim final.
A handy lead, and here's the try scorer, full of running. He breaks the line, but comes out diving for the grass after the contacts. Kurt Kara, nothing like a try to say there's nothing wrong with the legs. I'm not feeling tired, I'm not weary at all. And look at the return. Now it's Kurt Dillon. Plenty of fans watching back in New Zealand will obviously be hoping the Warriors can stage a comeback, but they'll know names like Farmanu Brown, Matt McKilrick, Sol and Malachi Huma, Jason Chernak, Kurt Kara, all New Zealand juniors. Such a strong rugby league country. Perhaps no surprise they want to be called the New Zealand Warriors again. Here's a kick by Newtown that goes out on the full. An error from the aforementioned New Brown.
Yeah, disappointing end there for the Newtown Jets. The Warriors now get to start their set on the 40-metre line. They just need to be patient here, get to the end of their set, get a kick downfield, and start to build a bit of pressure on the Newtown Jets just through field position. Very important at this stage of the game, especially after their last two sets have come up with errors.
John Pallavi. Now Ada Hingano to James Bell. Tore for Foa simply. It was a good pickup from a big man. The ball arrived in front of him and a little low. Viliame Kavainga on in jumper 17. This is Bell back to Kavainga. Tackled by McKilrick. Along with Dillon. Final play. There's the grubber, beautifully picked up by Matt Evans. The mascot Jets Junior, now a Newtown Jet in the centres. He was on the spot there and made sure of the grab.
Didn't he do well, Matty, and returned it with interest as well. Almost just hanging on that kick from Hingano, trying to get it through the line, trying to feed it into some space in behind. If he was able to do so, the repeat set of 6 was on.
Here it is again. Did get a kind bounce, but still, it came at pace. And you can easily drop your lollies right there. Jalen Graham just sitting it up for Kurt Kara. We've come the best part of 50 metres, and now it's New Brown, who keeps this one well away from the sideline, gathered by Hanare Wells. And he comes back towards centre field, tackled by Cleland.
Just turning the screws, the Newtown Jets, aren't they? Just prepared to get to their end of their sets, get a good kick chase, and work really hard defensively. It's been a better effort defensively this week from the Newtown Jets. They're looking quite strong, but plenty of dangerous players in this New Zealand Warriors side. That second phase play can really open you up. They're going to have to be switched on for the remainder of this match.
Looks like Jason Chernak going into the rooms. We'll go down to Jimmy very shortly. But he was the man hindered by a knee complaint in the warm-up. He's battled on bravely. And now the Warriors put the pass along the ground and into touch. Mason Leno. Well, this second half, too many errors. Stacey Jones, the frustration levels will be on the rise. Unable to build any pressure because they keep letting Newtown off.
They're just chasing points at the moment, it seems like, doesn't it, Matty? And you know, there's plenty of time left in this game. 25 minutes to go, and this New Zealand Warriors side can score points, and when they do, they can score them in bunches. Just need to complete some sets, get themselves back into this game. I think Stacey Jones, like you say, Matty, will be pulling his hair out at the moment, but plenty of time left for the Warriors.
Mason Leno delivered the try assist of the game in the first half when he kicked across field perfectly for Hanare Wells to finish spectacularly, but right there, it was a nomination for worst pass of the year. Forward, low, long, into touch. Cleland. This is Malachi Huma, bumping away from the defenders, looking to offload, still thinking about it and pulling the trigger on the pass. Jalen Graham. The ball goes through the hands. The kick and chase. Hanari Wells under pressure. Can he stay in the field of play? No. Harrison Muller is on in jumper 16. He had a role in that. Nick Moretas chased, and in the end, that man was pushed out of play.
That was a great play from New Brown. The offload came and they shifted it out to the left-hand side, which meant Hanari Wells on that right-hand wing for the Warriors had to come up. As soon as he moved, New Brown just put it on the toe. Great weight, kept it in field, and Hanari Wells really had no opportunity but to dive on the football, and he was forced over the touchline. Newtown Jets, great opportunity to put further points on. Just really turning those screws now. They're going to do well to survive here, the New Zealand Warriors.
Bit of a negative coming for the Newtown Jets. We saw Jason Chernak go up the tunnel because of an injury. It is that injury that he suffered during the course of the warm-up. That was a calf injury on the right leg. They worked on him overtime. He had it fully strapped up during the course of this game, but just seems to have inconvenienced him again. So don't expect him to be back, Matty.
That's a blow for the Jets as Muller is tackled 10 metres out in front of the uprights. McCulloch appealing for a penalty. It was a tangle in the ruck. Matt Evans. He gets the ball away to Cleland. Cleland is tackled by Hingano and James Bell. McCulloch long for Dillon, who loses his legs, diving and taking them out. It's James Gavay. McCulloch with one try already. Going close again. He's pushed backwards by John Pallavi, who has to stay in the tackle. He couldn't, and it needed another effort. How long until the held call came? Now Dillon. This is New Brown, Jalen Graham. And the defence converges on Kenny Nico. Brown stabs it, body height at the defence, still there, and the tackle count restarts. Brown scoops it and runs himself from dummy half, tackled by John Pallavi a metre short. Too long on the tackle player. It was Gavay, Pallavi and Nickel Klokstad, and they'll take the two. You can understand this going ahead by more than 2 converted tries.
Yeah, just the intensity's just lifted, hasn't it? The Newtown Jets attacking with a lot of venom at the moment, threw a lot at the New Zealand Warriors, but are able to turn them away. But unfortunately, just slowing things down a touch too long. The Warriors just a touch out on their feet at the moment. Still got 20 minutes to go. I know this kick should take the Newtown Jets out to a 14-point lead, but the New Zealand Warriors, they can score those points in no time. It's the errors at the moment really hurting the New Zealand Warriors. Just can't seem to get through any of their sets of 6 as they come out of their back end of the field. Just putting themselves under pressure on their own goal line.
At the line, fellas.
Can't take nothing away from the Newtown Jets, though. They're playing very smart at the moment. Really loving what I'm seeing from their halves, just the way they're directing traffic, coming up with the right option on most of those occasions. And New Brown looks to add those extras to put them out to a 14-point gap.
He was none from 2 in the first half, but right now he's 3 from 3 in the second. 22-8. I mentioned the raft of shows we have for you on Fox Sports during finals month. Finals on Fox, well, on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. NRL Round Table. I thought it was a cooking show, but I was relieved when I tuned in during the week to see Vossi leading an intriguing conversation. NRL Round Table. They'll go everywhere and anywhere. Head chef Andrew Voss looking after the menu. Feensy, did you enjoy that?
I loved it. I'm loving just the finals week, just footy non-stop here on Fox.
There's the short kickoff. It goes the distance. It was swatted at by 2 Warriors, picked up by Malachi Huma, and all of a sudden the Warriors have a problem. Gavay just jumps on his opposition front rower and rides him into the ground. This is Muller.
Up there, one. All the way, Mason. Hold.
Been able to
Go, one.
control possession in the second half, feed on these Warriors' errors, Newtown. And all of a sudden, the Jets have 58% of the ball for the game.
Together now, 2. Right side, 8. 17.
Ahead by 14 points. Nick Moratis with a few words for Mason Lino, who thought it all a little funny. Now Dylan.
Hold. Go, 3.
Kurt Kara puts it out the back. Josh Cleland to Malachi Huma. Straight into James Bell.
Hold. Go, 4.
Cleland on to Jalen Graham. He kicks it down for George Carmont. Still there, knocked on by Newtown as they chase through. And now there's a calf problem for Jalen Graham. Well, the upper leg was strapped at the start of the game. He might need some strapping on the lower leg now, but this scrum will allow us to praise Newtown's defence. So far leaking only 8 points for the game. They've given up on average 28 across the last month. Jimmy Smith, I know they're scoring points tonight, but their coach, Greg Maddison, will be happy with the Jets tackling as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a function of the Warriors turning over the football, but the Warriors turning over the football is a function of the good defence that they've got in front of them from the Newtown Jets. I think that would be a highlight for Greg Maddison during the course of this game. You've got to remember, though, there is a finish to go. There is time on the board for this New Zealand side. If they can control the football, we know they have the strike power. And as we see now, another injury picked up here for Jalen Graham. Chernak's already gone off the field. You start thinking about your rotation and how you're going to use those players. Again, Arana Tamata, we're still waiting for him to come on the field and just how he's going to be used during the course of this game.
It is a long, tough season, isn't it? You can say who you think is going to be in the grand final come May or June, July, August, but if players go down through September, it changes the complexion completely. There are headaches for Newtown's NRL-aligned club, the Sharks, the Canberra Raiders picking up a big injury, Josh Hodgson, syndesmosis or an ankle sprain. If you're an old-timer.
Wouldn't that be a massive blow if Hodgson can't get back for the Raiders? But, you know, that'll have a flow-on effect to their feeder side, the Mounties, as well. I know Blake Austin has been out injured the last few weeks. They've lost Sam Williams, who's been the director for the Mounties side, so he could be a possibility in an inclusion next week. But it's so dependent on the luck that you get from the injuries at this time of year.
Nickel Klokstad plays the ball. This is James Gavay from the Richmond Rovers in New Zealand. 24 NRL games under his belt, including 10 this season. Jazz Tavanga. Kavainga will go to dummy half. Hingano just gets to the kick. Through to put pressure on Kurt Kara. Applied a lot of it. In the end, Jalen Graham catches, gets a little pat on the head as a congratulations from Ken Momalo. More strong defence. Well, I'd love an error here, the Warriors.
They'd love one,
and they get one. On cue.
Perfect from the Warriors. They got to the end of their set, put it high, and it was a great kick chase that put pressure on Jalen Graham when he took the footy, and he went to ground and they give him a whack, which set up that line speed. You see your mate do it, you want to do the same. Just that intensity from that tackle. And it's probably no surprise that Tavanga's back on the field. He definitely is that leader amongst the Warriors forward pack. He just leads that line speed time and time again. And they've got an opportunity now.
Jacob Gagan appealing. He was a little unlucky. He put the ball on the ground, about to play the ball, and the backpedaling Warrior kicked it out of his control. The referee ruling that the onus to have that control or keep it was on Gagan. So here are the Warriors. Jazz Tavanga. Still plenty of time for them. Kavainga throwing himself at McKillrick and Corin Smith. Tavanga from close range. Gavay will crash and bash his way, but not to ground. Again, McKillrick is involved, but the man most responsible is the try scorer, Kurt Kara.
That's a great effort on your own try line. That's a big man. Gavay coming at you, able to get himself underneath the football. Saves a certain try.
Forget huffing and puffing, bashing and crashing. The style of James Gavay. Here they come again. Cavainga gets the ball away on the ground, still there. Hingano throws it out, looking for Momolo, who does well to keep it in. Still play on. Now it's ruled knock on against Momolo.
They knew there was space out there, the Warriors. They just couldn't get the football there. And I don't know if the run from dummy half initially was the play. They needed to get the football through the hands. Momolo trying to keep the ball in. Just knocks the football on before scooping it back. All that pressure is released once again on the Newtown Jets, but how about Kurt Kara's defence on the line there?
Right there, no half.
That's what finals defence is all about.
Righto, let's go. In we come. In we come, fellas, lock in. Second row. Off you go, head in, lock. Out.
So Newtown, from their own 10-metre zone, in control, leading 22-8. 13.5 minutes left. Victory will see them through to Leichhardt Oval next Sunday to play the Illawarra Cutters. Cutters finished second at the end of the regular season. This is Junior Tavanga. Sorry, Junior Rongitha. Now Josh Cleland. We already know that Mounties, the minor premiers, will play West Tigers, who won here earlier this afternoon, 26-16 against Wyong. Good control, but still being urged on.
Just another error coming out of their own end, falling guilty of what the Warriors were doing not 5-10 minutes ago, not completing sets coming out from their own try line. You just can't invite a side like the Warriors back in. Needed to get to the kick on that occasion and just forcing things. They found a little bit of space, but at that point in time, just needed to get through the set of six. Here come the Warriors.
Look at this kick from Mason Lino on the first tackle for Hanari Wells. They've already combined once. Now it's twice. Hanari Wells running onto a Mason Lino kick, not once, but twice, and spectacularly both times.
Wow. I thought it couldn't get any better. The one we saw in the first half, right on the stroke of half-time. But a little trick shot here from the Warriors. Play one off the scrum feed. I can't express how hard that is to do. On the fly, Mason Lino just going to the line, dropping it on the toe at full flight, and Hanari Wells, he's timing out on that wing to read the kick, is something special. He had a lot to do as well. Good speed down that right-hand touch line, able to come off the right foot and get the Warriors back into this game.
I'm not sure what's more awe-inspiring. The kick from Mason Lino that was inch perfect for his man Hanari Wells, who didn't break stride in taking what was a difficult ball over the shoulder. What a setup. You know, don't wait till the sixth tackle. Do it on the first tackle. That's what the Warriors have said. Now Mason looking to add the extras.
None from two tonight, again in difficult position, and again he drags it across the face. 10 points the difference, but gee, his kicking in general play has been outstanding.
He's been spot on, and he got the opportunity because of the Newtown error. Coming out of their own end, just forcing things. With a 14-point lead, I just don't know if that's the play. It's given the Warriors a real sniff in this game, and they're a side that can score in bunches.
Hanari Wells, 2 tries last week, 2 tries tonight. James Gavay clearing their head and getting ready for a big 10.5 minutes. The Warriors want the comeback to continue. What's that try done to them? Josh Tavanga into Malachi Huma. And then even the involvement of McKilrick couldn't stop the offload. Evans makes the tackle. Out of Hingano, plays it 15 metres out. John Pallavi backing his way into Solhuma. There's big collision from Junior Rungitha. Up to put the pressure on Upu Poaching. And now the kick from inside the 40, looking for a 40-20. It's a bit short, but it's a good kick from Mason Lino.
Just didn't hit it how he wanted to. That's exactly what he was looking for, the 40-20. Bit of a sniff, as we said, all that momentum now with the Warriors, and it was a good set of 6. They're going to chance their arm. Watch out for that second phase play. The Newtown Jets are really going to have to concentrate on their tackles and numbers in those tackles to stop those offloads, because if they can start popping balls to Nickel Klostack, Hanari Wells, Mason Lino, they'll really open them up through the middle of the field. Very dangerous side once that stuff starts happening.
Mason Lino played 3 NRL games last season, the last 3 rounds, in fact. And Sean Johnson out injured, but no games in the top grade this season. He's in his 3rd year in the Intrust Super Premiership, formerly the New South Wales Cup. Good defence on Malachi Huma. Now Kurt Kara. New Brown on the Nick Moratis. Newtown's completion rate very fair, 25 of 30. The Warriors 18 of 25. Here's Solhuma. His legs wrapped up by Poaching with Sean Lane over the top. Final play, and New Brown drives it towards the sideline, just controlling the finish to the set.
Perfect kick in the end there, wasn't it, from Brown? Exactly what his team did.
When you're there, stay in.
Take your time.
Stay there, Warriors.
Get a bit of a breath.
Let's go, Newtown. Bring it
They
up.
know that they don't have to score any more points to go on and win this one. It's all going to get done defensively, and they know the Warriors will come at them.
Keep coming, Jets.
Great kick. The Warriors look up and have to go 90 metres. The more times they can do that over the last 10 minutes,
Feed it.
the more likely they'll go on and win this game strongly.
Ken Mamalo. I might go to the super coach, Jimmy Smith, sitting sideline. Jimmy, how do you stand, or where do you stand when it comes to kicking defensively or kicking with attack when you're ahead by 10 and with 8 minutes left on the scoreboard?
I think it depends a lot. As we see an error come here, it's got to go one way or the other, and they've gone against the Warriors. Not happy, Ken Mamalo. I think it depends on what, as a team, you've done all year. I get worried about the mindset of teams that start playing for the clock. And when you try and let the clock win the game for you rather than the team win your game for you. Mind you, easy for us to say sitting here in the comfort of the commentary box or on the sideline. Very different when you have to play the game.
Let's go, Jets.
Well, good to see the Jets fans still vocal. They can see another day out next Sunday at Leichhardt, as long as their team goes on with the job here.
Time on.
They have fans spread across the rugby league universe, Newtown. You'll see Jets merchandise in the most random place.
I'll take your word for it, Matty.
I won't mention those places for fear of incriminating myself. Here's Kurt Kara.
Together now. Hold.
Now McKilrick behind Rungitha. New Brown to Cleland. Here's Josh Cleland set for another state championship. He played with Ipswich in their successful tilt last season. Solhuma. Probably he's back eventually. Still 2 plays left. McKilrick sends it to his left. New Brown flat for Moratis. Good tackle coming from Lino and Lane. Now again, New Brown just driving it over the sideline, looking at the clock, saying, tick away, baby.
Well, I think we know what the Newtown Jets tactic's going to be over the course of this last 6 or 7 minutes. Every opportunity, they're going to drive the ball over the sideline, get their defensive line set. And Jimmy, you raised some really valid points down there, just with their kicking game. Do you play the clock to slow it all down? But they've come up with some really interesting options tonight, the Newtown Jets. Kicking on the first, running on the last. So I guess it's just a ploy that they're going to adopt over the last 6 or 7 minutes is to drive it out and just screw this game down and go through to this prelim final next Sunday.
Seems to be working for them. And one thing that has been a feature of tonight, given the fact they are up against a side like the Warriors, only giving up the 3 tries, is a fair effort come 74th minute. So you would expect that to continue. But you never know in the game of rugby league.
Still 6.5 left, and Hanari Wells couldn't hang on to the ball. There was half a chance if he had. Now it's Jacob Gagan going on the attack. Gagan back into Wells. McKillary gives it for Sol Huma. Just repeating, Newtown haven't lost back-to-back games all season. They were beaten last week by Mounties. Are they about to bounce back? New Brown for Arana Tamata. He couldn't hang on. Lane scoops it up. He needs a flyer in support. And it's support from Viliame Cavainga, but play will stop because Josh Cleland has been down for a long time, and there's real concern for Josh Cleland. He's talented 5'8".
You played on 0 tackle, mate. 17. 17. You've got to play, mate, on 0.
See if we can pick up what was it, friendly fire.
No, we're playing 0 tackle.
He fell awkwardly with bodies tumbling around him, but you might have spotted it at home. I need to see it again. I can't see. Is it a knee in the back or is it a wrist? I'm guessing, Nathan. I'll go to Jimmy Smith's sideline as well. I don't know what he picked up right there.
It looks like a shoulder injury, Matty. I think we'll look at the way that he lands here. It's not actually there. It's the right one. The left arm lands first, and then he spins around onto that right shoulder, and I think there is an overextension there. Might be an AC injury, but that seems to be what the trainers are looking at the moment. And again, we've seen that they've had their issues with injuries throughout the course of this game. He would be a huge loss if they were to go on and win this game for that game against the Cutters next week.
Greg Maddison in his 9th year as Newtown coach. And he's using some of that experience now to assemble the team, work out how to cover Josh Cleland, who I touched on a moment ago, played magnificently with Ipswich last season. He comes down to Newtown, aligned with Cronulla. And you just wonder, as we head towards the 2016 state championship, who the man of the match in that game will be, because in the first 2, David Bowen in 2014, playing for the Northern Pride. He's gone on to play NRL. Last year, it was Matt Parcell playing with Ipswich, off to Manly. Who's it going to be in 2016, and where will their rugby league journey take them?
Obviously, it just goes to show this feeder competition gives players, like you mentioned, an opportunity to put what they can do on show. Cleland, he's come down to Sydney, opportunity at the Sharks. Hasn't been able to force his way into first grade, but he's had a fantastic season for the Newtown Jets, and a big reason why they're playing in this final tonight, and that's going to be a massive blow if he can't continue, and I don't think they can risk him for the back end of this game. The last 5.5 minutes, they'll take him straight up the tunnel, but that's a real concern for Coach Greg Maddison.
17.
Try scorer tonight. He scored his 7th try of the season.
Back to the red line. Yeah. I'll wait for him. I'll wait for your replacement.
A stack of try assists and line break assists, part of his 2016 effort.
Wait there, wait for the replacement. Yeah, I'm waiting. It's all right. Thanks, mate. Okay,
So
zero
Kirk
tackle.
Dillon
Wait for my
comes
whistle.
back on.
Hold! Zero tackle.
Let's see what sort of shuffle they come up with.
Good now. One. Hold square. Go, one.
Hingano inside. It's Hanare Wells. Time the enemy for the Warriors. Poaching, gives it on for Gavay. Charging forward. Eventually, New Brown slips down around the legs to stop him. Roach out of Hingano. Hanare Wells, a nice play, just trailing on the outside shoulder. 2 plays left. It comes across for Hingano. Out the back, now Lino. Changing angles with Lane. And Manu Brown didn't fall for it. He tackled the halfback who'd kept the ball. Last play, the kick high across field, looking for the height of Momalo. Instead it's Gagan, and Gagan gets away momentarily before being dragged to ground by John Pallavi.
Yeah, big defensive set from the Newtown Jets. They really threw a lot at them then, the Warriors, didn't they? Mason Lino drifting across the park, showing and going on the inside. And to finish the set, it was the crossfield kick, just the up and under. Probably didn't get across just far enough for Momalo to isolate his counterpart on the wing, Gagan, and he did a fantastic job to be able to catch and run it out to the 30-metre line to get Newtown on the front foot. As we see Kurt Cara just down injured in that contact. He looks to be all right. Don't think Greg Madison will want any more injuries from his side tonight.
Rana Tamata into dummy half. Squirts a little acceleration. He played NRL for Canterbury, North Queensland and Penrith. His last NRL game, round 17, 2012 with Penrith. We're in Penrith tonight for the second Intrust Super Premiership semi-final, and Matty McKillrick happy to wind that clock down. West Tigers already through to week 3. Newtown about to join them. And we're set for a fantastic Sunday next weekend. Very much rugby league retro. We're at Leichhardt. We've got Illawarra playing. We'll have Newtown there. West Tigers will be there. And Mounties. The successful Intrust Super Premiership club aligned with the Canberra Raiders. I'm looking forward to it already, Nathan.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the outcome of the next few weeks, but just to finish here, it's really starting to get to panic stations now for the Warriors. They must score this set of 6 if they're any chance to go on and win this game. See what trick shots they can come up with. It's got to be Mason Lino. He looks the man most likely tonight.
Well, if it is Mason Lino, he'll be kicking for Hanari Wells. Twice already tonight for very impressive tries. Tofafoa Sipley picked up and forced backwards. McKillrick again, along with Dillon. Now Gavay. Just look at that missed tackle count from Newtown, just to underline how good their defence has been. 15 for the game. Last week it was 42. Hanare Wells might not give them the chance to tackle him. He passes, and Chance Nickel Klokstad gives the Warriors hope.
Wow, what a burst of speed from Hanari Wells. The Warriors do this regularly at the back end of the game. They put Wells back to the fullback position, and he just sniffs around. That's exactly what he did here, back on the inside. It was a fantastic offload, and how about that speed? The speed to burn. He's had a fantastic finish to this game. And Nickel Klostad, he was back on the inside, backing up. Slams it down, and the Warriors still breathe.
Mason Lino, an important conversion attempt that he drives down the middle. His first success of the evening. What a time to do it. Hang on to your seats. 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, it's the Warriors, isn't it? What about the speed there from Hanari Wells? We know he can catch a kick from Mason Lino, and now we know he's got exceptional speed as well. That was great play. Chance Nickel Klokstad looked like he was going to put the ball down, would have made it a much more difficult kick on a difficult night for Mason Lino. It just goes that little bit closer, guarantees they get the goal. And what a scramble of 90 seconds we've got coming up, Matty.
Nickel Klokstad, he's played 5'8", wing, centre and fullback. Last week he was at centre, tonight at fullback. He finishes that try and he sets up the finish. Tofafoa Sipley. He starts the sets. Now Roach. Good metres out of dummy half, tackled by Moratis. Lino. Through the hands, it ends up with Poaching, trying to shrug his way out of more tackles than the one he did successfully. This is John Pallavi. It's a sound set so far. 2 plays left. They're 38 metres out. Tofafoa Sipley to Lino. He's looking for Hanari Wells, this time finding him with a pass. Last play, the ball is wild out of dummy half to John Pallavi. Not the best target, with the most respect for John. He's a back rower. Now it's with Lino. Showing it to Hanari Wells. Lane has it. 20 seconds remaining. Gavay says, what do I do? Throw it for Hanari Wells. He's wrapped up by New Brown. Now the reinforcements arrive. Nick Moratis and the Newtown Jets start celebrating.
What a great tackle from New Brown over the top there to stop that movement. That could have got dangerous. We see that from the Warriors time and time again, and it generally ends up with a try. But the Newtown Jets, they booked their place in the preliminary final. They meet the Illawarra Cutters next week.
A late surge from the Warriors, but Greg Maddison, the team at the Newtown Jets, they stay alive for another week. 4 tries all, but 3 conversions from New Brown make sure that Newtown win it at Penrith 22-18. Hanare Wells doing his utmost with 2 tries and a brilliant break to make it exciting at the end, but for Taufa Fawcett and the Warriors in the Intrust Super Premiership, their season is over. They join their NRL team and Holden Cup outfit as 2016 over and out, but for the Huma brothers and the Newtown Jets, life must be pretty good right now, Jimmy.
Also good for Manu Brown. Congratulations on that win. A tough game. Hey, there we go. Tough game in the middle there, and you made it really tough at the end there. What was the good things that you were happy with?
Mate, we knew they were going to be big in the middle.
Yep.
You know, they had a couple of boys coming back from first grade. We have a couple of boys out playing first grade. They're playing well. Justin Stanley, Kurt Cape well. We knew it was going to be a tough job, but we said to each other, if we be ruthless there in the middle, we'll win the game, and our defence held up really well at the end.
Defence was a highlight. Also, the control that you played with at the back end of the game too, putting the ball into touch. That's obviously a plan that came from Greg.
Yeah, mate. Our coach done really well with us during the week. He just said it's all about time management. Coming with final footy, we just have to have good time management, and that's what we did tonight. And good performance from the half, Josh Cleland. So it was good.
Yeah, we don't know about him. There's a few injuries as well. You've got the Cutters next week, Leichhardt Oval preliminary final. Can you get the job done?
You might well hope so. We just have to go back to the drawing board and hope for the best for next week.
Well done tonight. Good luck next week.
Cool, thank you. Appreciate it.
Statistically, it's a good story for Newtown. They controlled possession. They limited their errors and missed tackles. They won the penalty count. Their completions were good. Mason Lino and the Warriors finished within 4 points after a comeback, but it wasn't a big enough one, Jimmy.
No, couldn't quite get the job done. And if we say that the Newtown side were able to control the ball very well, George Carmont, I guess that was the opposite for you guys. Just too many mistakes?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're our own worst enemies in that second half. We weren't completing our sets. Some pretty poor options on the last tackle, and we ended up just defending too much, especially at the start of that second half.
What's the future hold for you now, George? 38 years of age. Do you go around again next year?
Oh, I'd like to. Not too sure what level though. It's pretty hard keeping up with the young guys at the moment. But if I can give back to my local club back in New Zealand, depends if the body can hold up.
Speaking of the young guys, so much talent within the Warriors system. Is there anyone you'd like to single out as someone to keep an eye on for all the viewers?
Oh, I think you saw, there was a few guys that got a shot this year and they really stood up, Nate Roach and Utter. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of juniors that are coming through that, hopefully they can produce some good performances. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the year you've had, and long may the career continue.
Oh, I don't know about that, but cheers, mate. Thanks.
George Carmont, from the Newcastle Knights to the Wigan Warriors, back to the Warriors in New Zealand. What an asset he has been to that club. Unable to get the job done tonight, leaving the Jets, formerly the Blue Bags, the mighty Newtown club, to celebrate victory and survival in the Intrust Super Premiership. They're off to play the Illawarra Cutters. We're off to a break, and then we'll be back to wrap it up from Pepper Stadium in Penrith. 4 tries each at Penrith. The boot of Farmanu Brown the difference, because Newtown have won it. They've stayed alive 22-18 against the Warriors. Newtown in control for most of the second half before the Warriors launched a late fight back and fell just short. Let's have a look at the stats. 22-18 to the Jets, who controlled possession. In fact, statistically, they had their noses in front on so many fronts.
Yeah, they most definitely did. The second half of the Warriors, just with their error count, was particularly a concern and probably what lost them the game in the end, but also the goal kicking. They were able to keep themselves in the game, the Warriors, but that goal kicking really let them down, and it proved to be the difference.
We were locked together at half-time, but Newtown wasted no time after the break, asserting their advantage. And one of their best players was front and centre in so many ways. Maddie McCurrick scored the first try of the second half. We'll show it to you here. We know that Josh, the 5'8", is fantastic, and trailing him, Maddie McCurrick got the job done.
He had a fantastic game, didn't he? Just always at the New Zealand Warriors defensive side, in and around the ruck, testing out the markers, but just his support play in with the big forwards going forward, and the way he was able to dictate terms. Kurt Kara, that was a lovely line. Hit of a forward pass there, but when the luck's going with you, it's going with you. And they, on the back of that, they're able to go on and play the semi-final next week. The Warriors weren't done, however. Mason Lino, he had a fantastic kicking game all night, and this man was on the receiving end for most part. Hanari Wells, that was a fantastic piece of play that gave them a sniff, and they weren't done, the New Zealand Warriors.
That's right, this is the second time in the game that Mason Lino had kicked across field early in the tackle count. That was on play one to find Hanari Wells, and Hanari was up to the finish as well. And then when Nickel Klokstad scored here, the break came from Hanari Wells again, who had an outstanding game on a wing. Chose to pass here, the fullback goes over, and with 2 minutes to play, it was very much game on, but time eventually beat them. Hanari Wells, doesn't he look like a player?
Yeah, he's got some speed, doesn't he? And just his timing out on the edge. Like, sometimes you can get a little excited with some of those Lino kicks coming through, but just his timing, the way he just positioned himself perfectly and hit the ball without even breaking stride. It was sensational stuff. As we've just seen, Maddie McCurrick was a try scorer in the second half. He's a very proud captain of the Newtown Jets and a winner, a happy winner, right now.
One of Newtown's best tonight was their hooker and captain, Matt McCurrick. Interesting preparation that you had for the game, Matt. How was that, getting your head around going to Canberra and then coming back?
Yeah, it was a bit tough, mate. I mean, it was all right to get involved with the Sharks game, and obviously they had a great win last night, but as soon as that game finished, I had to get my head on for this game, so drove back late last night and got my head ready for this game, and we were lucky to get away with the win today, but it's good preparation for next week.
Anyone in the car with you, or you just have the Matt McCurrick playlist?
Oh, no, I had the missus in the car with me, so she gave me some company to talk to and stuff, and got to talk some game plan with her on the way back, so it was good to talk her ear off on the way home, but no, I'm glad we got the win today anyway.
Well, the game plan worked perfectly tonight. I thought you controlled the ball really nicely and also controlled their big men, and you must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, I mean, we had to, mate. I mean, we knew they've got a massive side, and once those big fellas get a roll on, they're pretty hard to stop, so we knew if we could tire up their forwards, then they're now more mobile pack, we had to run through them, and we did that a fair bit in the first half. I think we run them around a bit, and obviously we got them in the back end of the second half.
Colours were impressive last week against the West Tigers. What does Newtown have to do to beat them next week?
Mate, I mean, we showed some signs tonight where we have to fix up, especially in the back end of that second half. Sorry, we just a couple of our D sets weren't too good. So, Cutters are playing good footy, and they put it to us last time we played them. So we're going to have to be on our game and really control the middle like we did tonight.
No, we wish you all the best. Well done tonight, and good luck next week.
Sweet, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Well done, Maddie McCurrick. Next week, Mounties against West Tigers, and this game you'll see on Fox Sports. Yeah, Mounties against West Tigers at Leichhardt Oval. The minor premiers against the team we saw win earlier today. Which way is that one going to go, Nathan?
Look, I think the Mounties, they've been the premier side all year, and they've just been the peak of where every side's been trying to get to. The West Tigers, however, showed a lot of potential today. Josh Adokar was outstanding. It's up in the air. I'll go the Mounties, though.
Plenty more footy to come. Hashtag NRL Finals on Fox. Another big week ahead. On behalf of Nathan Thien and Jimmy Smith, I'm Matt Russell. Well done to the Newtown Jets. They're still alive. It's good night from Pepper Stadium.
This has been a production of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.